Recently, Digimon released a new V-Pet crossing over with the iconic Godzilla. Having been hinted at nearly 20 years prior with the Digital Monster version 5, this is a full circle moment for the franchise. This device allows us to raise a variety of kaiju from throughout Godzilla's history, as well as the new G-Erosion Digimon. G-Erosion is a phenomenon where Digimon are infected with G-cells, turning them into Digimon Godzilla hybrids. While this is a fascinating concept with cool designs, I couldn't help but think, what if they did more? While I do still love the G-Eroded Digimon, I want to see designs like Rathalos Greymon and Xenogarurumon. Those two are fusions of Digimon and Monster Hunter monsters that were introduced in the previous crossover device. What I love about those two is that they feel like Digimon in their own right, not just crossover designs. G-Erosion, however, is heavily dependent on Godzilla lore. To remedy this, I'm creating my own Kaiju Digimon. In World, these designs would be scientists' attempt at creating a symbiotic relationship between Digimon code and Kaiju DNA. Here we will showcase a full evolution line based on the Agumon line and Godzilla. Lastly, all of these Digimon were drawn and designed by the wonderful artist Adriano Divino. Be sure to check out his art or even get a commission yourself. His socials will be linked in a pinned comment below, so be sure to take a look. You won't be disappointed. Now let's get to the designs. First, we have Zil Agumon. Based on the original Showa-era Godzilla, this Agumon variant proves to be adept in hand-to-hand combat. In battle, this Digimon will unleash a flurry of punches and kicks that contrast its bulky stature. To finish off its opponent, it will get within point-blank range of their target and hit them directly with their nuclear flame attack. For the rookie level, I wanted to start with a simple baseline, so of course I went with the original Showa-era Goji. Well, not the original, since that one died in the same movie it was introduced in. I'm actually referencing the second Godzilla that had the exact same origin of being an irradiated lizard turned giant monster that just so happened to look almost identical to the first. Anyways, this version of Godzilla was a far more goofy iteration of the character. You ever see that clip of Godzilla sliding on his tail for a dropkick? Yeah, that was this one. Being that Showa Godzilla was a more whimsical take on the character, it felt like a perfect choice to mix with Agumon. Also, this was originally called Showa Agumon, as reflected in the social media post Adriano made about it. I have since changed it to Zil Agumon, but you can call it whichever one you like. Moving on to the champion level, we have Burning Greymon. What? Burning Greymon is taken. And it's a dubism? Dang it, that's like the perfect name. It's literally Burning God's... Whatever. What's burning in Japanese? Yakudo? Sure. Yakudo Greymon. Yakudo Greymon has exhibited a startling increase in power, to the point that its body is no longer able to contain this energy. This Digimon is overflowing with nuclear energy as a result, constantly emanating from him in the form of flame. Yakudo Greymon has become more erratic, to the point of being near feral. While they've struggled in terms of holding back their power, they refuse to target anyone they deem as innocent. As for those they see as an enemy, Yakudo Greymon hunts down their target and unleashes a wave of nuclear energy with its Nova Radiation attack. The Godzilla fans watching may be surprised to see Burning Godzilla as the champion. After all, this form is regarded by many as the strongest Goji has ever been. Burning Godzilla happened because Goji had taken in so much radiation that it was struggling to contain it. That feels like a logical evolution from base Godzilla. It easily could have been the Mega, but I had another idea for that design. Either way, I love how it looks here. The radioactive flames make it feel distinct from other Greymon, avoiding it looking like just another palette swap. For our ultimate stage, we have Mecha Greymon. Right away, I'm sure somebody in the comments is typing, Mecha Godzilla isn't actually Godzilla, so it shouldn't be here. Before you finish roasting me for my lackluster Goji knowledge, I'd like to refer you to this Digimon from the Godzilla V-Pet. This is Mugendramon MFS3. Do you know where the MFS3 comes from? That's Mechagodzilla's model number, so before little Timmy runs to his mom because Rek put Mechagodzilla in a Godzilla evolution line, there is precedence. Mecha Greymon has forgone its organic body in favor of a fully robotic one. Retaining only its skeleton as remnants of its prior form, this Digimon is far more efficient in its energy usage. Focused purely on whatever objective it's given, Mecha Greymon only exerts enough energy to complete its task, being stationary when not in use. Despite this new way of operating, Mecha Greymon will not deal lethal damage to its opponents, but rather cause them to revert to their in training stage using their Giga Mazer attack. The version of Mechagodzilla I used for this design was KAIJU, the Mechagodzilla from the Millennium era of films. This Mechagodzilla is actually built around the skeleton of the original Godzilla, which only further supports my choice to use it in this line. Aside from that, KAIJU's shoulder-mounted cannons reminded me of Blitz Greymon. Blitz Greymon attacks with its Thunder Verniers, which it can flip from its back to over its shoulders in order to shoot electric blasts. In that state, the Thunder Verniers bear a striking resemblance to KAIJU's aforementioned shoulder cannons, which was then the basis for this design. At last, we have the Mega level. Named Shin Greymon, this Digimon has rapidly grown into a grotesque behemoth of a Digimon, bearing a resemblance to War Greymon. Its body has grown at a breakneck pace, causing its skeleton to burst out from under its skin. From this, Shin Greymon has large bone claws it uses as weapons and an exposed ribcage forming extra armor. While it rivals Omnimon in terms of strength, Shin Greymon is completely feral, making it impossible to direct. With his kaiju killers and atomic force attack, this Digimon has only ever been incapacitated, never defeated. As you can see, I chose Shin Godzilla for the Mega. This felt appropriate because, for one, the meaning of the name Shin Godzilla holds significance. Some translations of Shin are spirit, true, and reality. This implies that Shin Godzilla can be considered the king of monsters in its purest form. As well, we see it constantly evolving throughout the movie. Shin Godzilla is a creature that is known for evolving to take on greater threats, which also perfectly describes Digimon. There was no way this wouldn't be the Mega. To wrap this line, I also wanted to point out a fun theme within it. Each Godzilla design picked for the evolutions comes from a different era of Godzilla films, being in chronological order as well. Not intentional, but you better believe I'm leaning into it. With all that covered, that's all I have for this video. Okay, not really. You can see the play bar, and you know we're nowhere near done. You see, my original intention was just to have this line. The problem is that I waited on making the video, and the 2026 Digimon Con happened. With that came the Godzilla Pendulum and multiple new G-Erosion Digimon, including one for Metal Garurumon. From there, the intrusive thoughts won, and I thought, I have to do a Gabumon line, don't I? So here we are. I'm going to clarify right away that this will be even more different than the Zilagumon line was. The reason for that is that I have no intention of referencing Godzilla himself for this line. I understand that the device uses G-cells as a mechanic, but it shouldn't mean that the designs are limited to just Godzilla. There are plenty of kaiju on these devices that are unrelated to Godzilla biologically, yet still evolve with G-cells. We can suspend our disbelief for the sake of design diversity. That means we need to establish what kaiju we're using for this line. There are plenty of options here, but not all of them work for one reason or another. King Kong could work, but he's not technically part of the Godzilla franchise. Mothra also came to mind, but the resulting design would be far too removed from Garurumon. After some deliberation, I think the most apt choice is one of Godzilla's greatest rivals, King Ghidorah. This design is unique because it has begun to take on traits counter to the DNA originally given to it. This variant started life as a cross between Gabumon code and the DNA of a mammalian kaiju. However, a change arose after they attacked and absorbed another Digimon. The Gabumon variant had formed a new pelt resembling the Hydra-like Digimon it absorbed. With this, the subject has taken the new name Gidabumon. Gidabumon attacks opponents with the intent of absorbing them to bolster its strength, though it has not seen any more physical changes since that first absorption. Using its triple vortex blaster attack, Gidabumon will disable its foes with magma energy before finally gaining its target's power for themselves. Gidabumon is fun since it's technically based on two kaiju. At first glance, the most obvious inspiration is the aforementioned King Ghidorah. While that's half true here, this Digimon is actually based on Ghidorah. To explain it in simple terms, Ghidorah is an amorphous alien that transformed into Ghidorah after it was defeated by it in space. So instead of actually being Ghidorah, it's more of a blob in Hydra's clothing. Yeah, never mind, there's no simple way to explain that. I made this choice because it reminded me of the story behind Gabumon. It's a lizard Digimon wearing a Garurumon pelt that evolves into the Digimon it got the pelt from. Sound familiar? Both Gabumon and Desigadora are mimicking other creatures, so why not fuse them? Plus, now I can flip it to be a mammal with a lizard's pelt. I was being vague when describing it earlier, but of course the mammalian kaiju I was referring to is King Kong. Figured it would be a fun reference. Upon evolving, Gidabumon took on a form matching its new pelt. Its champion form, named King Garurumon, looks similar to the Digimon it defeated, except now with a golden hue. The three heads the monster now possesses are capable of acting independently of each other. Because of this, King Garurumon is able to focus on multiple opponents at once, being nigh on impossible to catch off guard. With attacks such as Gravity Wall and Howling Lightning, King Garurumon is capable of disabling and dispatching its foe in one fell swoop. Since Gadabumon wasn't technically based on the King Ghidorah, the real King Ghidorah ended up at the champion level. King Garurumon pulls mostly from the Showa-era King Ghidorah. Just like with Showa Godzilla, this version of the character is the one that informed all the designs that followed. It's classic, and it makes sense to use it somewhere in the evolution line. I know that this design deviates from Ghidorah because it still has a wolf's body. This made sense to me because even if it's based on classic Ghidorah, we still needed to keep Garurumon in the mix. To remedy this, there is a vague inspiration of Kaiser Ghidorah in this design. It's mostly in the fact that it's a quadruped, but those black stripes come from Kaiser Ghidorah having some black coloring in his design. A small nod, but a nod nonetheless. The ultimate stage of this line exhibits a drastic change in its physique. This ex-Garurumon is a biped like its rookie form, but now has a bony exoskeleton serving as armor. As if its three heads had combined into one, this Digimon appears to be far more cunning in battle than its prior stages. Ex-Garurumon fights using a combination of both melee and ranged attacks. The Digimon has taken to the strategy of disabling its opponents with its Gravity Howl attack and unloading a flurry of hits with its fists, legs, and tails in its Kaiser Barrage attack. I picked Monster X because it's a surprisingly good parallel to Were Garurumon. They are both humanoid versions of quadrupedal monsters, now with a greater focus on martial arts. Beyond that, the two are both more tactical. In the movie Final Wars, Monster X is a coordinated fighter even when being mind-controlled, where Garurumon is then stated directly to be tactical in his Digimon reference book entry. Even without those similarities, I just love Monster X here for the visual parallel. How perfect is it that both Garurumon and Ghidorah have versions of themselves that are humanoids focused on martial arts? It was too good to pass up! This line's mega level, named Kaiser Garurumon, is a fascinating case among Garurumon species. The KAIJU DNA that Digimon absorbs seems to have unlocked some hidden potential within it. Once again sprouting three heads, each one matches with a previously discovered Garurumon species, all with different personalities to match. The Digimon shows superior intellect when it comes to hunting. With its three heads, Kaiser Garurumon employs hunting strategies reflective of a wolf's pack tactics. This Digimon manipulates gravity and lightning to disable any foe. Each of their heads can attack their targets with its Kaiser Moon Fang, as well as landing powerful slashes with its Golden Beast Gravity Blade. Ironically, despite using the name, Kaiser Ghidorah isn't an inspiration for this design. The main reference is actually Monsterverse Ghidorah. I could give some in-depth explanation as to why I chose it, but it boils down to me thinking this is the character's best looking design. Though I will say that I love that each of the heads of this Ghidorah had its own personality. That's why Kaiser Garurumon's heads are modeled after Metal Garurumon, Crest Garurumon, and Ancient Garurumon, respectively. I should mention that there's actually a second King Ghidorah that inspired this design. Of all things, there was a 4D Godzilla ride in Japan that featured its own version of Ghidorah designed specifically for it. That one had the unique trait of being able to walk on all fours because of the hands on its wings. I decided to use that trait here so we could keep this Garurumon quadrupedal. So that's all I got for you with this video. Hope you enjoy the... What? That's not the end. I can't end this video till I make a Jogress of Shin Greymon and Kaiser Garurumon, but I don't have the budget for that! Oh, they don't care. Huh. Alright, I guess I should have seen that coming. There was no way I ended this video without an Omnimon equivalent. You can't make variants of these Digimon and not fuse them. Though I didn't technically make an Omnimon species. That's too harmonious for a creature crossing Godzilla and King Ghidorah. With these two at the helm, I think the Digimon would be more chaotic, if you will. The Jogress of Shin Greymon and KAIJU is Chaosmon Ultra K. This Digimon resembles both its namesake and the Omnimon these Digimon should have become. Stuck halfway between the two, it's as if the Digimon code and the KAIJU DNA are fighting for dominance. Like other Chaosmon, the Digicores of the individual Digimon refuse to combine, even if their bodies have. The arms of this Chaosmon wield weapons made of warped muscle and bone, forming its Shin Sword and Kaiser Cannon. Upon fusing, only one of KAIJU's personalities were incorporated into the body itself. Instead, the spirits of the remaining heads became specters tethered to Chaosmon through a portal residing behind it. These heads can be shot at opponents as its Paradox Void rockets. While I don't consider myself a very edgy person, I knew that if we were fusing these rival monsters, it could not be treated as a pleasant experience. Just like Shin Greymon, this Digimon leans into the body horror aspect of these monsters. Retaining that split jaw and keeping the eyes of Omnimon, only to show a pained madness within them, conveys the chaos of this design perfectly. As for the KAIJU side, this design managed to keep the three heads while referencing another Ghidorah design. The Paradox Void rockets are referencing Void Ghidorah from the Godzilla anime. While that anime isn't the most beloved piece of Godzilla media, this eldritch horror-looking version of Ghidorah is sick. In that anime, we only ever see the heads of Ghidorah coming out of portals and attacking Godzilla. I thought it would be fun to take that idea and use it to incorporate the other heads of KAIJU. Adriano not only pulled that off, but managed to make the portal have this third eye look to it, even if unintentionally. Then Chaosmon's ribbons become tattered wings and a tattered trench coat too. Oh my god, I can't get over how cool this looks. Anyways, that truly is the last design of the video. Thanks so much to Adriano Davino for this wonderful art. These designs are brilliant and I had to share them. How did you like these kaiju-based Digimon? Please let me know whether you would like me to do something like this in the future. There are so many more monsters that could use this treatment. Even the version 5 Digimon would be cool to bring in. Perhaps giving them evolutions resembling their kaiju counterparts? There's so much that can be done mixing these franchises. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I guess hype the video too? I guess that became a thing since the last video I made. Anyways, thank you again for watching. This is Rek, signing off.